Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. And I'm wearing my Halloween costume. Can you guess what I am? I'm a YouTube person. Yeah, that's what I am. So I guess I should say Happy Halloween, right? So it's the Friday version of the show for Sunday with the Bears and the Cincinnati Bengals. So let's just get right into it, right? First, I just wanted to give anybody who a little courtesy, if you don't know it by now, if you have YouTube TV, not the Sunday package, but YouTube TV, as of this morning, we no longer have any ESPN or ABC stations. They've been removed, which really pisses me off because tomorrow starts college football. It's all about money, man. Money, money, money. Okay, get off that bandwagon because I could go on forever about there. So anyways, we're playing the Cincinnati Bengals. They are 3-5. We are 4-3. So, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up. I'm sure you know by now that the Bears signed a cornerback, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, with our two cornerbacks, J.J. and Kyle Gordon, are currently on injured reserve. Yeah. And then our other backfield guy, Stevenson, number 25, is nursing a bad shoulder, but he was full practice yesterday, so I don't think it'll be a problem. But they did sign Gardner-Johnson, and he's actually was with Dennis Allen and in New Orleans. And I think he also was somewhere along the line with Ben Johnson, but I'm not 100% sure. He's kind of a problem player. He started out the season with the Eagles. He was on the Eagles last year when they won the Super Bowl. They traded him this year to Houston. Houston released him after 3 games because there was conflict with the coaches and him. So he's kind of a problem child, but we need bodies in the backfield because we're so decimated there, and you all know it. So I'm hoping that maybe the Bears were thinking, okay, Dennis Allen can maybe reel him in because he knows him. He worked with him 3 years in New Orleans. So, and he's a decent player. So let's hope he behaves himself and he just keeps his mouth shut and goes out and performs on the field. Fingers crossed. Okay, so the Bengals and the Bears have played 12 times, Cincinnati winning 6 and the Bears winning 6. So they're tied. The first time they ever met was in November of 1972. So we'll see. So I'm going to do a little stats, and then we're going to talk about the game, okay? So I'll do my usual stats. So the Bears are passing an average of 225 passing yards a game. That puts them 10th out of 32 teams. Cincinnati is passing an average of 202. That puts them 21st. Now, Cincinnati's had a lot of quarterback problems, which we're going to talk about. The Bears are averaging, I find this hard to believe, but it was those 2 really good games we had that helped. But they're averaging 124 yards a game on rush, and that puts them 10th in the league. Cincinnati's averaging 82 yards rushing, and that puts them 31st out of 32 teams. So that's a good thing for our defense. For sure. Points scored, an average, Bears are averaging about 24, which is not good. We all know that. They should have been averaging more, especially with all the turnovers that the Bears on defense have given the offense. The problem is they're not scoring touchdowns, they're scoring field goals. So they're averaging 24 points a game. That puts them 15th in the league. Cincinnati is averaging 21 points. That puts them 21st in the league. The Bears defense is allowing an average of 26 points a game. Sure would like to get that down. That puts them 21st in the league. And Cincinnati is giving up on defense 31 points a game. That puts them dead last, 32 in the league. So that's good for us and Cade Williams, right? So let's compare the quarterbacks. Now, The quarterback situation as of today. Now, I'm in Vegas, so I have not seen the injury reports for either team at this point because it's 11 o'clock here, and that makes it 1 o'clock in the Midwest. So, and they haven't posted them yet, so I'm only going off of yesterday. So, Williams, Cabe Cabe has 1,632 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, and that's been creeping up, and that's a concern. I want him. We gotta have no interceptions from him this week. He's been sacked 12 times now. Franco, who Flacco, excuse me, Joe Burrow is the Cincinnati starting quarterback, and this guy's really, really good, but he cannot stay healthy, and he is hurt again. He only played 1 or 2 games. Flacco has played 3 games, and for the 3 games, he has 783 yards passing with 7 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he's been sacked 4 times. Now, let's see, I got to go down because I put somewhere. Okay, so and Flacco's hurt. So now if Flacco cannot go, then they're going to have to go to their 3rd string quarterback, Jake Browning, and he's played 4 games. He has passed for 757 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. Good. Very bad ratio. So I'm kind of hoping he plays, and then, whatever's left of our backfield or even anybody could get an interception on Sunday, and he's been sacked 9 times. So we really don't know if it's going to be Flacco or Jake Browning. I prefer Jake Browning, but we'll see come Sunday what quarterback is out there, but you see what they have for both of the quarterbacks. Okay, so our running backs, let's compare them. Swift has 664 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns. Our rookie, number 25, Kyle, has 186 yards rushing with 1 touchdown. And Williams, our quarterback, has 130 yards touching with 2 touchdowns. So I'd like to see Swift get at least 100 yards, but Swift, as I go over injuries, has not played this practice this week at all. I'm hoping it's precautionary just to keep him rested because he's banged up, but if not, then it's going to be Kyle, number 25, and maybe number 23, Johnson, because he didn't participate in Wednesday and Thursday practices either. Oh boy, we're in trouble. We have got the injury bug this year big time. The Cincinnati Bengals running, the leading guy is Brown. He's got 300, I think it's Chase Brown. He's got 383 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns, and Perry is their next closest guy with 193 yards rushing with 1 touchdown. So you can see why they're not very good at rush. I mean, I thought we were bad, but these guys are worse. And you know how I feel about rushing because it's really important. Our receivers, the leading receiver, 15, number 15, Rome. Love that guy. And I just love his hair. It's like every time he takes off his helmet, it makes me laugh. It is so funny. He's got 473 yards receiving in the air with 5 touchdowns. Nice. Number 2, Moore, 331 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. Swift, and I've always liked this about Swift because I've said it, he's not the greatest running back, but he can catch in the air and he can run with the ball. He's got 192 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns, and OZ, number 14, has 185 yards with no touchdowns. So those are our leading receivers. Of course, there's other people catching, but I'm not going to name them all. So we've got their leading wide receiver this is a lot. Chase, he's got 720 yards receiving in the air. Yeah, so he's their main target, and I'm sure the Bears are concentrating on him. He's got 5 touchdowns. T. Higgins has 360 yards receiving in the air, which is also nice. 4 touchdowns. And Font, whatever, their tight end has 192 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns. So Chase and Higgins are going to be the ones we're going to have to keep our eye on in the receiving department on Sunday. So for our defense, the Bears have 14 sacks, and that puts them 25th in the league sacking. That's not good. We got to start getting sacks. We know it's been an issue. The Bengals have 11 sacks by their defense. That puts them 28th. So they're, like us, not great in that area, which is a good thing for our offensive line and Cabe and our running game. We have 11 interceptions, and we're leading the league. Right on. And I would like to see us get at least 2 this week. The Bengals have 8 interceptions, which isn't shabby, and that puts them 4th in the league. So it's a problem that we have to watch for. The Bears have 5 forced fumbles and 5 forced fumble recoveries. The Bengals have 2 forced fumbles and have only recovered 1. So, we're better than them in the turnover area, but it's close, But I'd really like to see the defense clean some of this stuff up. So, and then my threes: penalties, turnovers, and 3 outs. My rule for my threes each and every game is if you win 2 out of 3 or all 3, if you win all 3, you're going to win the game. If you win 2 out of 3, you're in the game and could very well win the game. And the Bears, with the penalties, we all know it's been a very big problem. They have 64 penalties right now, and that, I believe, puts them 5th in the league out of all the teams, 32 teams, and that's disgusting. It's lack of discipline, it's lack of focus, and it just hurts the teams. Turnovers, you got to win the turnover battle, and I'm really hoping our D can come up with at least 2 turnovers, because when we get turnovers, we win the game. And 3 and outs is about the offense. You do not want to have 3 and outs. You have to minimize those. You have to be on the field. Your offense has to be on the field as much as possible, as I always say, because that lets your defense rest, and it keeps their offense off the field, and you're wearing out their defense. So 3 and outs are very destructive. They're right next to penalties. 3 and outs do you no good at all. So, and I'm going to, I'm going to give you what's been going on, because obviously the Bears, okay, wait a second. First, I'm going to get to this first, and then we'll get to how we're going to win the game and what's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. But good news is, on the injury front, Booker, finally, our D lineman on the line, is returning this week, hands down. And we need him so bad. As I said, we're 25th in the league on sacks. We only have 14. And our 2 leading leaders is Dexter Sr. with 3.5 and Montel Sweat. Sweat is right behind him with 3 sacks. But, of course, I'm so disappointed in Sweat. He has showed up the last 2 weeks, but where was he before? And it has to continue. We have to get in the face of their quarterback. But having Booker back, I think, is going to be huge. He had a great camp. He has not played at all this season, and they said he's been doing he's picked up in practice where he stopped when he got on injured reserve. So the thing is, we need him back. We need as many guys on that defensive line to push that offensive line of the Bengals back and get into their quarterback, whoever it may be. As I say, if you can't sack him, hit him, get in his face, fluster him, chase him, make him run out of the pocket. He'll make mistakes if you do that. We want sacks, but hits and get in that guy's face and fluster him is just as good, because he's going to turn over the ball for sure. So, the Bears. Okay, so, yes, I mentioned the penalties. The penalties are a huge problem. We are 5th in the league with 64. The leaders are Denver, Dallas, the Jags, and New England, and then that's after 7 games. That is terrible. I mean, my God. And you know what? people are like, we're not scoring in the red zone. We're not scoring touchdowns in the red zone. We're only doing field goals because of the penalties. I blame the penalties more than anything because every time they get down there, they go the wrong way. And, I feel like I'm saying this week in and week out, saying the same shit. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but the Bears need to have 5 or less penalties to win a game. And that's part of my 3s, 5 or less. And you cannot win a game with 11 penalties like they did last week. The week before was 10 penalties. The week before that was 9. Not good. Double digits is just not acceptable in penalties. And I saw one of our ex-coaches who is a commentator now on one of the channels for the Bears, Wannstedt, and I liked what he said. He said a couple things. And one thing he said, he knows Cabe is only in his second year, and he's still, learning how to be a leader. But he said, you know what? Really good quarterbacks will get in the faces of their linemen or who's ever causing these silly penalties. And he told a story about years ago when Peyton Manning was still on Indy, and he said he saw Peyton Manning and their, I don't know if he was the center or he was an O-lineman, but what was his name? Oh, you guys know him. Starter? Oh, shucks, I can't remember his name. Anyways, him and Peyton Manning got in a big argument on the sideline while the defense was out on the field and the offense was off about the penalties. And they basically, Peyton Manning said, I'm the quarterback. I'm going to run the plays, and I'm going to get in the face of people who make dumb mistakes and go us backwards. You're an O-lineman. You block for me. Saturday. I'm sorry, his name was Saturday. Yes, everybody knows Saturday, the O-lineman from Indy. And he said, your job is to not have a false start, not hold, and block for me and the running backs. That's all you need to do. I'll take care of the rest. And it's true. So his point was he wishes and I see what he's saying. He wishes Cabe would step up, again young, and starts calling out the players that have the most. And last time I checked, and I like Darnell Wright a lot. He's a great lineman, but he does have the most penalties on the Bears O-line. And I think one of our rookies, Tooney maybe, might have the second. But they have got to stop. You cannot do these penalties. It's most ridiculous. And now, I am not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination, but my son pointed this out on me, and this is something he saw and was going around on NFLpenalties.com. So I went and I read it, and it was out there on and it was on their website. So whether this is true, well, part of it's true, because the Bears, this part is right. The Bears have flagged 64 times for 533 yards. There's points in that 533 yards. There's yards on the ground in that 533 yards. There's passing yards in that, right? Which that makes them the second highest per game penalty count in the league. The Bears' opponents have been flagged 36 times for 254 yards. That's the second lowest count in the league. Makes you think. If this is the truth, and we have seen such bogus calls on the Bears and non-calls on the other team. I've seen it week in, week out, and I'm not a person that gets on the refs and this and that because I do think they do a pretty damn good job, but it's been league-wide this year. I've seen it on non-Bears games. I saw it again last night on the game. They called a penalty for tripping, which Miami, which is terrible, but and it had a million penalties last night. They had a touchdown called back because they said the offensive lineman, or was he a receiver, it doesn't matter, tripped the guy. He did not. He wasn't even close to tripping him. Terrible. And they lost the touchdown and didn't score any points. So I don't know. Conspiracy, I don't know, but I don't like that at all. It's a bad figure. And the bottom line is the penalties have got to stop. okay? I mean, we are just not going to get to 500 or better if we don't stop doing that. And when we were talking about the red zone, I saw this after last week's game. Up to last week's game, and including, I think it included last week's game. Sure it did. The Bears have scored 17 touchdowns, and they've tried 20 field goals and missed 3. So it's 17 for 17. But you don't want to have more field goal tries than your touchdowns. That's not good. That's a bad ratio, and that does mean, and we all know they can't score in the red zone. They can move the ball down. How many times have we seen it, especially in the first quarter? They're moving it down. You're like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then penalties or sack or tackle behind the line of scrimmage, boom, field goal, if we're lucky to get that. And it's happened time and time and time again. And it has got to stop. You have to have a better touchdown ratio to your field goal tries if you're going to want to win in the NFL. That means the running game has got to get more first downs. They just do, because that just helps and keep the penalties, right? I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore about that. So they have got to clean up the red zone. They have got to score touchdowns when they're in that red zones. Field goals is not going to win you games, especially in the games coming up. If you look at the Bears' schedule, now, you know, I believe that anybody can be beaten on any given Sunday for sure. Now, we're playing a team that statistically we should beat on paper. And the Bears so far this season have beaten the teams they should. Although I thought they should have beaten Minnesota, and now looking at it, they should have. But they beat the ones they should have. This is another winnable game, Cincinnati, for the Bears. So we should come out with a win. We better. That's all I'm saying, because it is winnable, okay? And after this game, it starts to get tough. Then we've got the Giants. Then we've got Cleveland. Cleveland's got a really good defense. And then we've got Pittsburgh. And then we've got Philadelphia. And then we're playing our division. And I think 49ers are thrown in there somewhere too. I could be wrong about that, but I think they are. So and we're playing a lot of road games coming up and a lot of games in short windows coming up in November. So Bears got to really, really clean up these mistakes, okay? Let's talk injuries real quick. So I told you these guys did not participate in practice Wednesday or Thursday. Our rookie wide receiver, number 10, Barden, our running back, number 23, Johnson. And I like this kid. I want to see him get the ball more. Number 90, Robinson, our D lineman, and number Swift 4. None of them participated in practice this week. Limited practice was Moore, Rome, 2 wide receivers, our tight end Clement, and another wide receiver, 14 OZ. So I'm thinking, and the rest all were full participation. I'm thinking limited, these guys are going to play, and I'm praying that Johnson and Swift do play, because we need them. I mean, we need them. So let's, bottom line in this game is Bears got to come in, take nothing for granted like they did last week. Don't underestimate anybody. We don't know which quarterback, so I'm sure they're preparing for both. Offensive, what needs to do. The line has to continue doing what they're doing. They've been doing good, but they got to get better this week in opening some more holes for that running attack. It was pretty tough last week, but we had, I think it was like 98 yards total running last week, so that's not terrible. I'd like Swift to have 100 just by himself, right? You got to be over 100 yards to win in the NFL rushing, and then that just helps your quarterback out. So the line, just keep doing what you're doing. Get those, just block for him. Give Cabe, and Cabe, you need to trust your offensive line. Trust that they're going to protect you, and keep your eyes downfield, settle your feet, and release that ball. Don't stand there back with indecision. So as of talking about Cabe, I read and heard a lot of negativity after that Baltimore game. Cabe Williams, our quarterback, did not lose that game for us, even though he's threw a touchdown that ended up, he threw an interception that ended up being 2 minutes later a touchdown, not even 2 minutes later because it was on the 10-yard line. So he gave up 7 points, but he did not lose that game for us. The running attack of Baltimore was 144, 145, and 11 penalties and not scoring touchdowns in the red zones. Those are the three things. And you say, well, that's Cabe. Yeah, but the penalties led the way. The penalties. You take away, so it was 11. Let's say we take 6 away to 5, right? It changes an all lot. If you watched my show on Monday, and I appreciate it if you did. I really, really do. I broke down those penalties and what it cost the Bears. And it cost them many touchdowns. And it gave Baltimore opportunities where they had third down. The Bears defense stopped them and they gave them first, continued their drives, touchdowns. So you gotta stop. I can't say it enough. And I know that the coach is mad. And I said it on Monday's show that he said he wants the captains of the team, the leaders of the teams to step up and get in these guys' face and say, listen, man, these are stupid. And it's the reason we're losing. They are so destructive. And it's such lack of discipline. And you know what? The other thing Wanstedt said that I almost agree, but it's a slippery slope because, you sit an offensive lineman when we finally get a line that protects and opens holes, and you sit one of the good ones because they're getting too many penalties, then you're putting somebody else in, then you're opening, you're up for trouble, right? So I agree with them, sit them, but then I don't. You know what I mean? I'm 50-50 on that because you just don't know what could happen, and it's a gamble. But something has to be done because it's just going to get worse and worse, and then it just brings everybody down. How would you feel if you caught a 25-yard pass and from stupid offensive offside, the new penalty they're calling a lot this season, which is bullshit, or a holding and it brings it back. Or you run 25, 30 yards and you turn around and you see that yellow. They got to be pissed. So knock it off on both sides of the ball, but particularly offense. And I've said it before, if I have to fly out there, I'm ripping one of your arms off, whoever's causing the most, and I'm going to beat you all with that arm. Okay? So that's the offense, and we need to get the run game going, okay? You know what? The wide receivers, can't say anything negative. They're doing the best they can. There was a few that could have been caught last week, but that happens all the time. But you got to offensive line, do their job. Cabe, settle down. Do not stare down receivers like he did the last 2 weeks. That's why he had 2 interceptions, because both times he stared down the receivers. And then be smart with the ball. Don't give us a dumb grounding penalty because you lose the yards and you lose the down, and that's what pushed us out of a field goal opportunity, and he missed it because of a grounding penalty. So Cabe, learn where the boundaries are. You got to get outside of that pocket and you got to throw it past the line of scrimmage. Not really that difficult. So do your job, man. Settle down. Don't listen to the bullshit out there because that game was not lost by you. It was a team effort and 11 penalties. So I told you, line, Cabe, running game has to get going. You got to stay on the field offense. Defense, you got to keep trying doing what you're doing. Now we've got Booker back. So he'll be on one end. You'll have Sweat. You'll have Dexter Sr. Let's see them get in that quarterback. Sack, hit him. Get in his face. They're going to turn over the ball, especially if Brownie's in there, because a 6 touchdown to 8 interception ratio, not good. So let's make it a 10 interception, right? So defense we got to get in their face. You got to stop their run. They're not good at the run. I told you they're dead last. Stop that run. And our backfield, give them, if the D-line and the linebackers can really step up, and the linebackers have been stepping up all season, there's just no doubt about it. Edwards, Edmond, Swell, they're playing. But if these 2 parts of the defense, that could give our decimated backfield some They got to do their job. But we do have Stevenson back in there, and he was not playing last week. 29's back this week. So, and he's having a good year. So, but, as I said, we've lost JJ and Gordon again. And when Gordon was in 2 weeks ago, what a difference he made. So everyone needs to step up. When your team is injured, like we are, everybody then needs to go 120%, not 100%, to make up for everybody else. So the Bears, winnable game if you cut out the fucking mistakes and penalties. You get that ball running, and you give Cabe time, and he does need to settle down. And Cabe, again, get off his ass. He's in his second year, and to me, it's his first year, because look what happened to him last year. That don't even count. And he's got all new coaches, so it is a learning curve. And a young quarterback, it takes them. If you look at some of the greats, they had Josh Allen, the first couple of years, he was not great. Peyton Manning his first year. Brady didn't come out right out of the gate. Everybody struggles because there's a lot to learn in the NFL. It's nothing like college. NFL is so much faster. So he is better than what we've had in a long, long time. The guy's got an arm. He's just got to figure out the few little other things, the incidentals that he should know. And he will. Just give him time. And you know what? Catch the ball when he throws it to you. Don't drop it. Don't fumble it. These running backs, and we'll be okay. And we're going to come home with a win. We are going to win this game because they can do it. And again, it's a winnable game. And these are the games that change you. When you start winning the ones you're supposed to, and you stay in the ones that are like, yeah, you're not going to win it, but you're in it. We weren't last week, and that's what the Bears have to do the rest of the year. And it's just that simple. Seriously, that simple. So, I don't know what else to tell you, but that is what I'm saying. And I'm saying I want to see a victory Monday. I want to be singing the victory song. I want to be 5-3, going into this real tough part of our schedule. I know next week we play the Giants. People go, the Giants. Giants are better than their record. That's for sure. So, but NFL, you can't overlook anyone. Okay. So, and you know what? I just need this. There's so much going on in my life right now. It's just a little bumpy, and I'm actually in the process of moving. I'm going to be moving in December. I'm in this huge house that I'm getting out of. This huge 3-bedroom, 17 stairs. I live alone. And so I'm moving to a townhome, smaller, but no stairs. And it has a pool. Yeah, baby. Like you guys care. Anyway, so a lot going on. So I need this victory on Sunday, okay? And I won't be hungover this Sunday. So, come on, Bears. You know what to do. Just air-free penalties, 5 or less, and just, you can do it, okay? And everybody, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the fact that you guys tuned me in. It was weird. Last week I had almost 400 views on one show, and this week I had 70. I don't care. If I get 50 or more, I'm cool. And that's not why I really do it. Of course, you want people to watch your show, right? But I really do appreciate it. And some of the people who watch me all the time make nice comments. And I do appreciate it. So I gave you the stats. Let's go, right? Let's go. Let's get this win. We're on the road week 2 again. Thank God we'll be home next week. I think we are. I don't know. The Bears have a rough schedule where they've not had I don't think they've had 2 back-to-back games at home this year, and I don't think they do at all this year. It's always back-to-back road games, home, back-to-back road games. I'm almost positive. And that contributed to them having the 3rd hardest schedule. So, simple as that. So, let's go, Bears. Bring us home a victory Monday, because you don't want this little 5'1", 67-year-old woman to come, because I'm mighty. I might be short, but I'm mighty, and I play hard. So, and as I always say, be kind, love one another. Yeah, it's a tough world we got going out there right now, and there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of differences out there, but you know what? We are all at the end of the day in this together, and if we stay together, we'll be okay. And just think before you speak. Be cool. Smile at people. It's just easier to smile and be happy. Sometimes it's not easy. I get it. Believe me, if you knew my life, you'd know it. And I'm a very high anxiety person. So, but when I'm happy and I'm smiling and I'm talking to people, ooh, yeah, life's okay, right? So let's just love one another for what we should do, right? And Bears fans, we're sticking together. Stop getting on Cabe. It's a team effort. You win and you lose at a team. So we just need all three phases, offense, defense, special teams, to show up on Sunday, do their part, and we'll win this game. And that is all this old lady has got to say today. Oh, and this was my other Halloween costumes. My dad's face on a woman's body. Just not fair. Happy Halloween. And as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby.